Here we go.
So, how many of you have been really awkward or nervous about advocating for yourselves? I had this issue a long while back, about a year ago. I had just gotten promoted at my job. I didn't really know how to talk to my boss. I had moved about an hour away and I just thought, okay, I'll commute. The issue was I was terrified of driving on the highway. And so, even though on the highway it would be about a 30-minute drive, I specifically chose the path of least resistance in my mind. And really, that kind of made me feel a lot like Garfield. Garfield likes to just take the path of least resistance. He's a little immature. He's just going to do what he thinks is easiest to him. I never really wanted to advocate for myself. My boss had kind of sort of swept a lot of things under the rug at my workplace, and I was wanting to transfer to a store that was a lot closer. So I thought, well, if I do that, I have to call them. I have to talk to my boss. I have to tell him why I want to leave and quit, why I don't want to be here. Oh my gosh, then what if I have to learn the highway sooner or later? I started journaling a lot and I started keeping a little logbook of how I've been feeling. It started when I started to go to therapy. My therapist had told me, you need to start writing these things down. And I started through journaling to realize it doesn't matter if I upset someone or hurt someone's feelings when I advocate for what I need. So I talked to my boss. I talked to the boss of the other store that's closer to here, and I got in. One of the things that they had started as a new program was van delivery driving from that store. And this new boss had come to me and she said, I know that you did a really great job at the other store, but you were never trained on the vans. And to work here, you need to be trained on our vans. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to suck because now I have to get on the highway. And I was terrified. I'm 20 years old and I had never once driven on the highway. Ridiculous. So I had thought, you know what? I just need to tell her. I'm going to be honest with her. And I told her, I said, look, I've never really driven the highway before. Is there something we can work out? And she said, you know what? I'm going to give you a month to practice on the highway. I'm going to start you out on that van. And you are going to drive all the things that are closer to the store down south. And then after about a month, if you're not able to get on that highway, we're just going to have to figure something out. And I realized I need to face this head on because not only was I originally just scared of being on the highway and driving, I was also afraid to just even tell people what I need. And so I got in my car and I drove all the way from Cheviot and Western Hills, all the way up to Fairfield. And then I turned around, drove all the way back for about 2 hours, just back and forth, back and forth. And I realized this is not scary. I got back to work. I talked to my boss, and she was like, all right, I'll get in the van with you. And she gave me a set of keys to the van. I keep these keys with me. This, I just clip onto it, it's whatever. And the more that I was driving in that van, the more I was doing deliveries, I realized I really love this. I think I might want to get my CDL and drive trucks. And I talked to my boss. I used the self advocacy skills that I learned. And I said, this is what I want to do. Well, our company has a trucking program that will help us get your CDL. They'll pay for it as long as you work there for 5 years afterwards. Now, what it is long haul trucking, which is very exciting to me. I love being on the road now. But what I'll need for that is a bag to keep all my stuff in for when I'm taking these long trips. And I've always used a duffel bag whenever I go on long trips, wherever I go for vacation. So this is going to be with me. It's always been with me. And I learned through really writing down and reflecting on how I feel and my own fears about, oh, what if people think that I'm awkward or I'm being a little weird or what if they just don't want to listen to me? And I took that head on and I took what I learned from that. And now it's advancing me further towards my career goals.